Good afternoon and welcome along to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Colin Watt and I'm joined by what would potentially be the best barbershop quartet possibly known to man. We've got Tony Haggerty, we've got Alan Morrison and we've got Kev McCluskey. Gentlemen, happy anniversary.
Same to yourself, Colin.
Cheers, Colin.
Can you believe it's been 12 months to the day since Ange was announced as the Celtic manager, Tony? I mean, we had the whole summer of this Eddie Howe saga, will he, won't he? And now, 12 months on, you're thinking, thank God he never.
First and foremost, forgive the colour, but I feel it's like the Blues Brothers here with kind of a reunion, and a band back together. It feels a bit like that, that musical theme going, but good to see everybody. Yeah, I think everybody knows my thoughts when Ange first came in. I wasn't entirely convinced. I'm convinced now. I'll tell you that. And, the start in the league didn't enamour me either. 3 wins out of 7. But you know what? I'm delighted that he's here. And I've said on record many times that called it wrong at the start. And I'm not too proud to put my hand up on that. And say, I wanted Eddie Howe. I was on the Eddie Howe bus, as people say. And it never happened. And I was more disappointed that had collapsed. Not the fact that we got Ange in. I was just more annoyed at the machinations of how Ange came about, but I wouldn't swap him for the world now. And you said a year ago I was possibly a bit annoyed at that. I ain't annoyed anymore.
It's very difficult to be annoyed nowadays.
And I think now looking on, Ange is exactly what we needed. He's the kind of manager that we needed. And you can't speak highly enough of him. And I think every Celtic supporter is just excited as to where it can go, where it can lead.
Yeah, Kevin, hindsight's a wonderful thing. If we knew what these 12 months were going to bring to us, I'm sure we'd all been on here with smiles as wide as the Clyde and everybody looking forward to the 12 months ahead. But as Tony says, it was a rough start and it was just a case of sticking with the process. And as Ange says, we never stop. And what a year it's been.
Oh, it's been an incredible year, yeah. I mean, excuse me. I'm thinking back 12 months ago, I was getting ready to move flat. I had my hopes up that Eddie Howe was going to be the man, same as Tony did. And then the way that whole deal fell apart, I'm not going to say I lost interest in the whole managerial appointment thing, but I was just so down in the dumps about it because I had my heart set on Eddie Howe. We'd seen that training video of him and he looked like he was going to be the perfect fit. And then, Ange been appointed. We all kind of hold our hands up. We didn't know who he was. I'd heard the name before because of, reading football magazines. I knew of the name, but I knew nothing of his style of play. I knew nothing of the man himself. And by hook or by crook, the Celtic board lucked out because Ange Postecoglou is a Celtic man. He gets the club. He gets the fans pretty much from his first press conference. He got us on side, and that worked in his favour because, again, like Tony says, he had 3 wins in 7 games. Any other manager's going to be under pressure. And somehow Ange got a bit of leeway, and then he stuck to the process. He worked his way through, got through the dodgy time, and looking back, what a 12 months it's been. What a ride. And the next 12 months as well, you're looking forward and thinking, for the first time actually, in God knows how many years, I'm sitting in a summer not stressing out about a transfer window because I think we've got a manager in there that knows what he's doing. He's going to plug the gaps that we need plugged. And by the time the Champions League group stage now, not even the qualifiers, as I was about to say, by the time that comes around, we're going to be in such a strong position now that I'm in danger of getting really carried away about how good next season could be.
Just had to bring this up before we come to you, Alan. Paddy Laverty says, we've got Colin, Alan, Kev, Tony and the wardrobe.
You know how it is. But I think the wardrobe belongs in the 70s a bit like myself. You know what I mean?
Certainly the last time that you should have got away with wearing a tracksuit top.
It started already.
Yeah, middle-aged man in tracksuit top. It's a great look.
I don't wear football tops, Alan, because I'm always like that. You're a grown man. I'm 50 this month, and I just like this and another Adidas tracksuit, only tracksuit tops I own. I swear to you, that's it.
So what one is that? Is that a team's tracksuit?
No,
Tony,
that's
as well?
a Roy the Rovers tracksuit. Aye.
Oh,
That's
very nice.
specifically why I wear it, because that's
Very nice.
my era of growing up, you know. So
And obviously, both yourself and Paul did a fantastic show a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
If you've not seen it on Roy of the Rovers, you can check that out on A State of Mind. Alan, I'm going to come to you. The 12 months that we've had of Ange Postecoglou, you are the stats man. What is the biggest stat that has jumped out in the 12 months that Ange has been in charge of Celtic, that if you look back on it, it's quite a surprise to when he took over?
Yeah, there's quite a few, but let me just touch on, in terms of where was I a year ago in the journey. So what Kevin said really resonates. So let's start with a negative, and then I'll get really positive. So, Kev talked about, Celtic lucking out, and my concern to this day remains that there was no logical line of thinking that would take you from no manager to Eddie Howe to Ange Postecoglou. And that suggests there isn't joined up thinking going on behind the scenes. And we just got lucky, basically. We got very lucky. So that's that still remains an issue and a concern. But on the basis that hopefully the gaffer's not going anywhere soon, and that weakness in terms of the thinking in the background isn't going to be exposed anytime soon. In terms of last year, my knowledge of Postecoglou was mainly, to be fair, through watching his Australia team at the World Cups. I'm a real anorak about World Cups, and his Australia team really caught the eye, mainly because he took a team that was really a rebuild of what had been a very strong, probably once in a generation Australia side, and was now full of the best will in the world, fairly kind of journeyman players. And he had a right go in what was the hardest group in the tournament. And although they lost all their games, they gave Holland and Spain and Chile a right fright and played really aggressive football. So that was my main. But then that kind of led me to think, well, is he a bit naive? Is it like style over substance and all this sort of thing? But the thing that struck me on day one was when I started looking at it was this guy improves every team that he's ever managed, and as a sort of base level, foundation level, that's got to be a pretty solid starting point. And then very quickly, I think when his name was in the frame, such as the world we live in now, we had access to all sorts of Australian and Japanese journalists and football correspondents who were, uniform in their assessment of this man and his capabilities and the type of football that he played. And again, whenever a footballer comes up or a signing or what have you, you'll get a range of opinions. But what was very noticeable was how uniform the views were of various experts around Postecoglou and his capabilities. And then when we moved into September, and I had to sit here as Tony was being very rueful and lots of shaking of head, I remember on that episode. I'm not being smart. We can go back and look at the videos. I was pretty sanguine because the underlying data showed that the performances were there. There was a coherence about the way that they were playing. And to Kev's point about he got leeway. Well, he got leeway because the squad was an absolute disaster. He was playing, kids. He was playing players out of position. He was playing players that we thought had no future at the club. He was trying to bed in, new signings, loan signings that we'd never heard of, all this sort of stuff. But what he did very quickly was he got the team playing a coherent style of football that was consistent game on game. And even if the results weren't going his way, the performances were starting to stack up. And so it was just a matter of time before, the variance would lead to the luck equaling out and results would start going away. And that's kind of how it transpired. In terms of, what is it about Postecoglou's team from a data perspective that stands him out? So I did, if you subscribe to the Celtic Way, I wrote at length on this last week. I would summarise it is that he plays smart football. If you look at Postecoglou's teams compared to, and my data that I collect goes back to Dyla, so Dyla, Lennon, Rodgers, is we're taking more shots from central positions closer to the goal. We're putting more crosses in, but they're low crosses, not high loopy crosses. Our pressing is more effective. We're creating better quality chances. I'm summarising very quickly for you, but that's what the data shows. We're basically playing smarter football. And that's what a good coach with a coherent way of playing gives you. And I think that is what gives me confidence, because it's repeatable, it's consistent. And although the result might not go your way on any given day, if you look at the SPFL, we are consistently creating around 2 expected goals more than the opposition in each and every game. And that +2 allows you to absorb a lot of variance. When I talk about variance, there are things like a bad refereeing decision, an own goal, a 40-yard screamer going into the top corner, the goalkeeper fumbling one, the opposition goalkeeper having an absolute, worldie at the other end. All those things, tend to not matter if you're putting at least 2 xG on the opposition, because you're creating that many more better chances. And he's created a team that domestically is now doing that on a consistent basis. The go forward is, how does he improve the team to scale those performances in a European context? That's his next big challenge.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll take a look ahead over the coming weeks to the European journey in front of us. Tony, if I remember correctly, you were on with Dan from Australia when we were looking back when Ange was appointed, and we managed to get Dan on and he gave us some of his insights. The one thing that stuck with me that he said was that the first year is not the year where Ange brings out his team. It's the second season we should look forward to. And that second season is just about upon us. So the question I'm going to ask you, and we'll look back at this in 12 months' time, just like we've done today. In 12 months' time, what do you think is a realistic expectation of this Ange Postecoglou team?
This season coming?
Yes.
Well, I remember Dan saying that. I remember Dan also saying, never mind the defence. You'll see a lot of using 5-4 stuff like that. And I was kind of like, whoa, I was doing this. I remember, and I remember him saying, don't worry about this season, it's next season that it all comes to fruition. And I was like, you just can't write off a season because there was 40 million quid at stake with Champions League automatic qualification at the group stages. And I was not kind of losing it, but I was kind of like, wait a minute here, Dan, you're not getting it here. And he was telling me, this guy will come good in the fullness of time. And I'm like, but we don't have the fullness of time, because this season was so important to win a title because of the riches that came the club's way. And then we started talking about, don't worry about the defence, that'll take care of itself. Because defending's not been Celtic's strong point over the years, so I was kind of like, oh no. But he did kind of roadmap and say, look, it might happen earlier or sooner. And as Alan said, from September on, was it when Celtic went to Pretoria and won 2-1? That was me. I was locked in. Yeah. I was on board then, and I thought, because that was a huge, huge game in the kind of Postecoglou reign, and the one where he gave it the chest pumping and saluted the fans, and I just thought there was a sea change. Everybody got on board then, even the doubters, and those who on the show, like myself. It was all kind of, right, this is it. Let's do this. Let's see what you got. And as Alan pointed out, domestically they were pretty imperious after that, where we only played, as Alan says, repetitive football. Ange likes to call our brand of football, Alan. That's what he always refers to it, isn't it? Play our brand of football. So I'm with Alan. I want to see what he can do now. I think everybody accepted that winning the title was really, really important. He didn't write Europe off, but the Celtic supporters accepted that it was maybe too early in Postecoglou's reign to have any real kind of make a fist of it in Europe. But I still make the point that they went to Germany and Spain and scored 5 times and still lost both matches.
Yep.
Which Celtic teams traditionally haven't done for a while. I know they lost, but they gave a good account of themselves in both those matches and should have taken more points in a really tough Europa League group. So I thought, okay, I think with a bit of fine tweaking and you can start to go to these places and get results. So I'm hoping that this year, as Alan says as well, that Celtic can make a real significant impact in Europe. Because I think domestically and with a few more additions, then I think they can retain the title. Yeah, I can see them doing that, but I want them now to take it to the next level. And the manager wants to take it to the next level, and the players are saying the same thing. I've said before, Matt O'Reilly, when asked about automatic qualification for the Champions League, immediately after the final whistle went at Tannadice, he said, that's not enough. I don't want to play in the Champions League. I want to win football matches. As I've said, that's not Matt O'Reilly speaking, that's the manager speaking. This is manager already telling them, you're going into this competition, we're not going in to be cannon fodder or to fail. We're going in to win and compete. And I think that's the manager's mentality as well. He wants to take Celtic to that other level. And I think every Celtic supporter is excited as to what the draw provide in the Champions League, but how much of a fish Celtic can make of it. And I think it will be one of his priorities this season to make Celtic a decent force in Europe.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've made Celtic Park a fortress. It used to be under Mark O'Neill, even under Gordon Strachan. Teams feared coming to Celtic Park. Now you get the kind of results. Like we look back to the likes of the qualifiers against Cluj, against Ferencvaros, teams like that, where Celtic really should have been more dominant, and maybe they showed too much respect. Maybe they just weren't ready. But these results we have to put behind us, and we have to look to build upon that. It is coming up now for what, 18 years since we've won a knockout tie in Europe. I was 10 years old at that point. That's how long ago it was.
Wow.
My younger brother, who is actually watching us from Florida right now, he was in nappies back then. He's never seen us do it. And you think back to all the great nights that you've had under Celtic Park, under the lights, even coming back and like Dariusz Jakinovski scoring the 4 goals, or the nights against Leeds United in the 70s. And this, I feel, Kev, with the manager that we've got, with the mentality that we have, and the fact that we have basically this whole summer to prepare for it, whether it is a case of finishing third in the Champions League and dropping into Europa League, or actually getting one of those top 2 spots, this is the year that hoodoo comes off our back.
Certainly hope so, Colin. Certainly hope so. It's been long enough, as you say. 18 years since we last won a knockout game, so that needs to change soon. And, you know, the biggest thing that you can pick up from Ange is that he's a winner. And he might not kind of... how much can I say? In European football, and he's done this in Scotland as well, he has his philosophy and his style of play and his principles. But I think what we were told at first was that he would stick to them rigidly, and that's where we were getting these 5-4 games we're going to come from. For me, he doesn't. He's a very clever manager, and he makes subtle changes from game to game, and that's the kind of the extra 1%, 2% he gets out the players and out the team as a collective that sees us get the results. We witnessed 3 away games in Europe this season, all 3 in the group stage. I'm going to say were brilliant performances. We won 1, possibly could have won 2 games if we'd held a nerve in Leverkusen, but should have got more points than we certainly did. And we didn't have a great team in all of those games, especially Betis away. It was a bit of a shoddy team that we'd put together just to have 11 players out in the pitch at times. Sorrow was playing in that game. You know, that's how
He scored twice as well, didn't he?
Exactly. So we're in a far better place now. Again, as I say, I trust Ange to go out and do the business in the transfer market. He'll get his top targets, I'm sure. He'll know the places he wants to fill, and he'll make sure he gets them filled. So we'll have a stronger team. Whether we can get through a Champions League group stage in second place is, for me, probably unlikely, because I don't think we're at that level just yet. But if we can
settle for first place, Kev. I'd settle for first place, right? I think being defeatist to talk about Europa League, so go for first place and then take what happens after that.
Shoot for the moon. Shoot for the moon.
That's it. So, well, in that case, then we'll get first place in the Champions League group stage. The knockouts is a formality after that, and we win the big cup next season.
And whereabouts is the final being held next year?
No idea, Colin. Would you be able to tell me that? It's not Budapest, is it?
Is it Budapest? Is it really? No way.
Is it written in the stars?
Well,
and his biggest idol was Puskás, coming to win the trophy in the Puskás Arena. You know,
all I'm saying is I've heard Tony's flights are already booked. I've heard Tony's flights are booked. Alan's already working on the stats for the history books. And I've heard you're divvying up the space that's left in your spare bedroom for all of the Acsom contributors.
That's right. €25 a night, Colin. So get your name in first.
I hope that's bed and breakfast included as well. It's great to have you all watching along. Some points coming in here. First of all, from Francisco Wildenino, or wee Francie W. Alan right in there with the steel toe caps to Tony.
Francisco, we got on well. It's all showbiz. It's trying to sell a fight, innit? You know what I mean?
Blah Boy coming in to say it's some boy band we've got here.
30 years ago, yeah.
No direction.
Any direction, all directions.
And Pura Vida coming in to ask, is Paul John Dykes in the wardrobe?
That would be funny.
It could quite possibly be. But quite a serious one. We'll go with this. Dominic Toy, shout out to the boys and girls who are walking at the minute for Mary's Meals. Big shout out to them. I'm sure you can find the donation pages online for that. So definitely check that out. Yeah, 12 months ago, 10th of June 2021, the trending stories that day, Wijnaldum left Liverpool to join PSG. There was a solar eclipse that day, so some people could say that the stars aligned for Celtic. And obviously the big one, the number one trending topic on Twitter that day was the pregnancy story of Stacey Solomon. Now, I'm surprised if half of you know who Stacey Solomon is. Okay, no, look at Alan shaking his head. He had no idea.
I was a big fan.
Yeah. Does she play for some obscure Belgium second division team? In which case, I'm probably all right.
You probably need to check your stats on that one, Alan. But today, obviously on the anniversary, Celtic have been busy this morning, and they have released the new away kit, which we'll be hoping to see Celtic participating in the Champions League wearing next season. We're just going to bring it up on screen now. So this is the away kit for 2022-23. Let's get rid of these banners so that we can see everyone's lovely faces. Tony, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on the kit? Obviously, a take on the 92-93 kit. And I think they've made a good effort of it.
I'm not buying one. I'm a grown man. Or a nearly grown. I'm a nearly grown man. Sorry, nearly grown man. So, no, I get what it is. It's an homage to the early 90s kit, isn't it? A lot of people not liking the back because it's plain. Yeah, listen, it's okay. I was disappointed though. I think the star above the badge it's white, isn't it? Why not gold?
Yeah, we'll take a look at that just now as we're speaking about it. But Alan, when you look at it, another number from Adidas here. Adidas have given us some decent kits over the year. I don't know that. To me, I know it's difficult to see on here on the screen, but I think that's a silver star, Tony.
Still not gold, is it?
That is not gold, but a different badge this year, Alan. It seems to be something that they're doing with the away kits and the third kits is we're changing the badge. This one, obviously, having the shield, going back to the early 90s.
Right.
There's a bit of nostalgia there, isn't there?
Yeah. So you always you see these things, don't you, online, is who's the first player you think of when you see this kit, etc. So my mind immediately went to, I was thinking Vinegar of Hesslink and Gary Caldwell sprung into the front of my mind, which is probably not a good thing. But no, I like it. I do think it's odd that the back is black, but I think the combination of the shirt and the shorts is actually pretty cool. I like that.
Are you buying it, Alan?
No, but what I will do is I'll get a Sabitio team painted up in that exactly that. There you go.
That's fair enough. That's good answer.
Kevin, are you a collector? Will you be purchasing this top this season?
I'm not a collector, and I will not be purchasing that top this season. I'm not a big fan. I don't like the black back. I think it would be nicer if it had the stripes all the way front to back. But interestingly, as Alan was saying about, you see a new kit like this, and it's the first player you think of, the old one. I'm going Rudy Vata.
It's always Rudy Vata for me, yeah. It's Rudy Vata for me, yeah.
So I don't know. I hope we play a lot better than we did during Vata's era.
Well, that's a given. When I look back at it,
probably a low bar to pass there, but I'm not totally convinced on it. It might be one of those ones that when you see it in the flesh, it looks a lot nicer, but in pictures, I'm not convinced.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not a massive fan of Celtic having the sponsorship on the front, and I think the non-sponsored version at the top is probably, if I was going to buy one, it would be that. I totally get what the idea of not having the stripes on the back. I thought that would have completed the look of the kit. It's for me probably one of the disappointing things. But when you're looking at this as a Celtic fan, and with everything that's going on in the world right now, £65 for a kit, Tony. What was it? What was the first price? Do you remember your first kit? Do you remember how much it cost?
Yeah, I get my first kit 77 to be the hoops. Kind of the last season, 76, 77, kind of Kendall Leash era, and got it from Robert Stores, and it came in a box on Argyle Street in Scotland. It actually came in an Umbro box, and I think the whole thing cost about between 15 and 20 quid, which is probably a lot of money back then. So that'd be like 76, 77 it would have been, yeah, something like that. So yeah, my father knew a guy who gave him kind of discount as well. So might well have been dearer, but yeah. And as I say, it looked great because it came in a kind of cardboard box. For those of people who are 50 and above, I'm 50 next month, so they'll remember getting their Umbro kits in an actual box, which was and it was a special thing to get a kit in a box. So there you go, a blast from the past.
Absolutely.
$65 for a shirt is I'm shirts shouldn't be that price, but that's just me, isn't it? We've already mentioned I belong from a there you go. I belong from a different era, but what's that? 65 quid, 18 quid for the socks, and so
38 for the shorts.
So you're talking about 115, 116 quid for the kit for an adult.
Yeah, so you're what, 65 and 38 is 103.
120 quid then, yeah.
Yeah, but £121.
Yeah. £121, sorry, yeah. I mean that's I actually think that's scandalous. The other guys think, I just think it's
I agree.
Monstrous. I totally agree. It's a ridiculous price to pay. Especially if you're a family as well and you've got to buy one or two kids as well. It all adds up. And then there's usually 2 or 3 kit releases every summer. So this is my kind of against modern football stance that I take. I think the price of a kit is just ridiculous.
No, it is.
Well, modern football that jar whiskey, don't you?
I'm going to get just a winner or loser. Thumbs up, thumbs down from each of you on this kit. Now, just picture Callum McGregor or maybe Jota in this kit running down the Puskás Stadium, about to win the Champions League next season. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Alan, on the away kit for next year.
If that's the scenario, they can wear blue shirts for like. No, I like it. I like it. I'm genuinely stunned at the prices of it. I am actually taken aback. I mean, I don't buy my Celtic kit is the classic 67 plain hoops with a round collar, nothing. And that's what I've always. That's the only style of Celtic top I've ever worn. So I don't buy any of the branded kits or what have you. So I'm genuinely taken aback by those prices. But I like the design other than the black back. So it's a thumbs up in general. But the prices, oh my god!
Thumbs up from Alan. Tony.
I don't dislike the kit. I think it's fine. I still can't get Rudy Vata, like Kevin says, out my head either.
Sorry about that one, Tony.
The black back, I'm a bit, but the price, that's a thumbs down. Price is just that's extortion, man. To be honest, so
anybody close to
I like the kit.
Anybody close to Tony, if you can get Rudy Vata's name or even Rocco Vata's name on the back of it for him, I'm sure he'd be delighted with that. Kev, overall, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I think overall for me it's a thumbs down. I think the black back kind of takes away from a bit of the appeal from the front, and then seeing that price tag on it definitely takes quite a bit of the appeal away from it.
What would the exchange rate be?
Oh, this would be literally in the thousands of forints, tens of thousands of forints. We're about 400 and something to the pound. So someone that can do a bit of quick math than me can work that one out.
So I think it's about 2,500, something like that.
25,000, it'll be something like that.
25,000 even,
yeah.
Crazy.
So that's quite a bit of your disposable income if you're based in Hungary.
So an overall thumbs up across the board, because I'm going to give it a thumbs up. But yeah, a couple of people coming in to agree with you. Brian, Degnan saying agree with Kev, not a fan.
Thank you, Brian. Checks in the post.
And try to see Jimmy Young saying that he likes it. Will McMillan saying give that strip a miss. The postage and packaging to Australia would bankrupt them. And Paddy Laverty, his
That's
checks in the
good.
post too. He says it's cheaper to buy an Acsom top. It absolutely is. Go and check those out. So we are back, and it's time for a bit of Friday fun. We're going to go with a Friday version of Guess the Celt. Now, I told you boys before we came online, I've got a player from the 90s or a player from the noughties. So I've given you half an hour to decide which era do you want to go with here. Majority rules.
I'd go noughties. There we go.
I think
Go
90s,
North, Alan.
90s might give me a slight advantage, possibly. The older, the better. Yeah.
The 90s was a decade to forget. If you were
Well, I know.
Yeah.
So Tony, you've got a casting vote here. 90s or
Oh,
noughties?
no,
You've got one each.
Chris, no way. I don't want the casting vote. Well, if you've got a coin there, flick it. I don't really care.
Don't, but do you know what? I've got the noughties open, so we'll go with the noughties, right? We've got a player from the noughties. So you've got 4 clues. I've got a 5th clue if we're getting there. First one to get it obviously gets a virtual pint. Take care. Obviously, join in the chat as well. First of all, first clue. I joined Celtic for a transfer fee of £1 million.
Okay.
In my time at the club, I only scored 1 goal. Next clue. In total, I have played for 5 Scottish teams in my career.
It's not Fernandez, is it?
Alan Morrison. That is incredible.
Sorry.
David Fernandez is the guest itself. After 3 clues, what gave it away? What was the giveaway?
I think the combination of Scottish clubs and the 1 million fee, because I tend to follow the finances thing a bit, so that stuck in my mind.
Guys, did you have it?
Who was his goal against?
So his goal came against Seduva in the run to Seville.
Yeah,
That was a clue that was coming up. It was my only goal for Celtic came on the road to Seville.
That was the first round we played.
Yep. It was in the away leg.
Away leg,
Yeah.
4-0 or something, yeah. 8-1 and 4-0 or something, yeah.
8-1 and 2-0, I think it was. Away.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And the last clue was that he currently works as a scout for Manchester City. So,
All right.
congratulations to
That
Alan.
would have thrown me completely, that last clue.
Well done, Alan.
Well done. We will do the 90s question maybe on another show, but we have another game to play today to get us through the last 20 minutes or so. It is the international break. As you know, Scotland had a fantastic victory over Armenia the other day. Anthony Ralston making his first Scotland start and scoring his first goal. Fantastic finish. Although it did look as though a couple of minutes beforehand, Tony was just about to get stretchered off with the way that he threw himself into that header. Did you catch that?
I did indeed, but I think you have to big up Ralston. Wonderful header as well. Reminds you of a certain striker that used to place headers like that. You know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting because
it was
that's
like that, wasn't it? It was like that Portugal.
The way he
It
took
was.
it, I'm talking about. I mean, he straight back to where it came and in the corner. You're no saving
Nice,
it.
nice little arc into the
Aye,
corner. Yeah.
correct. You know, and on a lesser scale, it was like his goal in Seville, the way he knocked it back. You know, I mean, he was closer in, obviously, than that. But I just thought the technique was brilliant, and I like Ralston. I think my opinion has changed on Ralston as well. But you know, he can score goals as well. He's a threat. So,
and I tell you what a 12 months he's had as well. So we are going to be playing some international Celt top trumps for the last 20 minutes or so. It's probably not the complete top trump rules, but we're going to play the Acsom rules today. So by process of winning the Guess the Celt, Alan, you get to go first, and then we'll go Tony and then Kev. We'll see how long we've got. I've got 10 for each of you, but we'll see how long we've got till the hour is up. We'll maybe come back to it later. So how this will work is you will see on your screen ex-Celtic player. So first up we have Tom Boyd, and he had 72 international caps for Scotland. And the player we are drawing him against is Pat Bonner of Ireland. Did Pat Bonner get more or less international caps than Tom Boyd?
I'm going to say more.
Pat Bonner got 80. So, Alan, first point is on the board, and that's how the game will work.
Alan,
So
you're on a roll.
Pat Bonner is up.
You
Tony,
get lucky sometimes.
Your first one is Thomas Gravison. Look at how angry he looks there. Did Thomas Gravison get more or less caps than Pat Bonner?
I'm going to say less.
Less. 66
Ooh,
caps,
well done.
Tony. You've got a first point on the board. Kev, you're up. Thomas Gravison. He is up against John Hartson.
Oh, big
Oh,
Did John Hartson get more or less caps than Thomas Gravison?
that's a tough one.
Yes.
Because Hartson should have played a lot of games for Wales, but he was injured a bit. So I'm going to say that Hartson had less caps than Gravison.
Yeah, he did start from 17 or 18 though, didn't he?
True, I'd forgotten about that. Al.
Oh, Kev.
The stats man just for you.
Not that I'm trying to put doubt into your mind or anything.
No clues from the audience, Alan. No clues.
We need your final answer here, Kev.
I'm going to stick with my original.
You're going with less.
Down. I'm going less.
It was less. He's 51 caps. So after the first round, everyone has 1 point on the board. Round 2, Alan, you are up. John Hartson comes up against Jos Valharen. And a lovely panini sticker there for Jos Valharen.
So Valharen was just before Belgium got really, really good. So I'm thinking if he was playing now, he'd be less because they've got a lot of players to rotate. But he did get a fair. I'm going to say less. I don't think Valharen played that many. I'm thinking in the 20s or 30s maybe.
Anyone want to contribute just before we check it?
I agree with that. I agree with less.
Yeah,
Kev,
go less. Go less.
19 caps.
Well, only
Jos
19.
Valharen got.
There you go.
Alan.
I thought more than 19.
So we have Jos Valharen, Tony, and he is up against Tosh McKinley. Did Tosh McKinley get more or less caps than Jos Valharen?
I'll say more.
More?
Yeah.
22.
I mean,
Not much in it. Very close.
Close, because Tosh played at the World Cup '98, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah.
And I think that's his 96 euro sticker there as well. So Tosh McKinley, Kev, he is up against Harold Bratback.
Oh.
Now, I couldn't actually find a picture of Harold in a kit, which is annoying, but I like that one, so we'll go with the Celtic one.
Is that because Harold Bratback never played for Norway? Is that
the
clue? God.
You got to think of his time when he was at Rosenborg as well.
That's what I'm thinking. When he was there, they had Sigurd Rushfeldt was the main striker, I think, and he had lots of caps. 22? Yeah, Harold got more than 22 caps.
Harold got more than 22 caps.
I don't remember Bratback playing much for Norway, I'll be honest, but then 22 is quite low anyway.
17, Kev, unlucky.
I went less as well. I'm like you, Alan. I wasn't remember him being prolific for Norway, or whenever I watched Norway.
Because they had a sort of several generations of flows, didn't they? That played.
Every time you came to World Cup, it was always flow up front, wasn't it?
Some iteration of flow.
So after the second round, both Alan and Tony have 2 points. Kevin, you are just behind on 1. So we've got Harold Bratback, Alan, and he is up against Chris Commons.
Oh, crikey. Well, that is tough because this is going to be a very, very close number, actually. It could be either way. Did Chris Commons get more than 20 caps? Because he started playing for Scotland quite late in his career, didn't he? I think he must have been nearly 30. So I'm going to go lower. I don't think he played for Scotland that many times. Probably did in a concentrated period, but I'm struggling to think he got more than 20 caps.
Thoughts, gents, before I hit it up?
I would say less.
Yeah, I would say less as well. I think he was only 2 or 3 years in the national team.
Correct. He only had 12 caps for Scotland. So, Tony, for Chris Commons, he is up against Kyogo Furuhashi.
Maeda scored his first goal for Japan today, by the way. I think the game's still being played, but
So this is before today's game. Then I didn't realise they were playing just now.
I don't know that Kyogo is playing. He might come on as a sub, so that could sway it.
No, definitely saying
the answer might change.
Definitely doesn't include today's game. Then.
Okay, that's okay, isn't it? I'll say more.
Kyogo Furuhashi has 14 before today. If he's playing right now, that might be 15.
I think that's what's known as a pick it out.
That was a sclaff, I think.
3 for 3 for you boys. Kevin, Kyogo Furuhashi is up against Zheng Ji.
Ooh.
Remember Zheng Ji?
Do. I think he's
Trying not
did
to.
a lot more. I think he's possibly the record caps holder for China. I think
That was one I was throwing in just to see if he would catch anybody out, but not correct.
Thank
108
you.
caps for
Did I
Zheng
get a bonus point for saying he was the record caps holder?
We'll see when it comes to the end of the game.
No, unless the next top trump's Ali Dai or something. You're struggling,
So, Alan, you're up for round 4. At the end of round 3, you have 3 for 3. Zheng Ji is up against Henrik Larsson.
Crikey. Bloody hell. 108. Oof. Oh no, this is going to be terrible if I get this wrong. Did Henrik? I don't know. I've got 90 something in my mind for Henrik, or even 80 something. So I'm going to go lower.
No many got 100 caps for our country.
106.
Well, I was lucky that wasn't off the post.
Keeper get a hand to that one there.
That's a keeper saves a penalty and then you rattle the rebound home into that.
Well, the rebound smashes off my face and goes in.
Definitely.
So, Tony, the King, Henrik Larsson, against Stilian Petrov.
I think Stilian got a lot of caps, but not as many as Henrik.
So you're going to go lower?
Yes, yeah.
Lower than 106. We have 105. Only one in it.
That was a screamer. That top corner, that one.
If that was a keeper rebound, then I don't know what that one was.
By the way, speaking of stats, the stat that I know about Henrik, most people know as well. 242 and 315. I described every one of them for the pull-out when he left. Do
you know, I would like you to do a podcast one day where you just read all 242 of the goals.
Seriously, and you know, a great story about that. When I got to the end, everybody knew it was 242, and when I counted them all up, I get 241. Could I find this goal? And it turns out that it was a goal against St. Pat's in a qualifier. And it hadn't really registered on any sites, and I had to trawl through forever. I knew I loved it, man. I was tearing my hair out. Where's this bloody goal? And I found it was a goal against St. Pat's in a Champions League qualifier that was so far removed from the Richter scale that nobody really bothered, you know. So, but that was my big Henrik, and he loved it as well. So, and he signed it for me too. So I was chuffed at that. So.
Framed possession, absolutely.
Yeah.
Kev, your chance to get on the scoreboard again. Stilian Petrov, 105 caps, is up against Ki Sung Young.
Using the logic of Tony and Al, that not many players have had over 100 caps, I don't think Ki had over 105. So I'll say less.
Less than 105 for Ki Sung Young. He had 110.
I think you used the wisdom of Stacey Solomon there.
I think I did. Channeling my inner Stacey Solomon. Didn't work.
Wisdom of Stacey Solomon, yeah.
So after 4 rounds, Alan and Tony are perfect 4 from 4. Kev is 50%, 2 from 4 so far.
A sudden death shout here, Alan.
So Alan, you have Ki-Sung Young, and he's
That's a
up
high
against
watermark.
Mikael Lustig.
Oh man, that is going to be close. Oof. I mean, it could be like 112 or it could be 109. So honestly, I could see it being either. I'm going to go just less. I think he might be over 100, but maybe not 110.
Mikael Lustig for Sweden got 94 caps. 5 from 5, Alan, doing well. Tony, Mikael Lustig at 94 caps is up against.
I'm being cast in the Aaron Ramsey role here, haven't I?
Aidan McGeady for Ireland.
Oh, man.
Did he get more or less than 94 caps?
Again, I'll go back to Alan's. He was in from an early age, wasn't he? But I'm going to say less.
Less than 94 for Aidan McGeady. 93, 1 in it.
Wow.
1 in it. 5 from 5 for the boys. Kev.
Going to a sudden death shout between me and Alan.
Aidan McGeady at 93 caps is up against Artur Boric for Poland.
Can you not give me somebody like Tony Watt to go up against?
Yeah. Tony Ralston, yeah.
Yeah, someone like that.
Aye.
Oh, Boric. I mean, he was number 1 for a while. But Poland's had a few good keepers, and he did miss one of the Euros, I think, when he was still in his prime. Oh. Let's say less, but it's going to be close.
Less than 93 caps. Yes. Artur Boric got 65. You're right. He did miss, and you've got to remember, Poland had some really good goalkeepers at that time as well. Fabianski and goalkeepers like that. So
Chesney, there was another lad that played in one of the Euros, I think. So
yep. Yeah. So Artur Boric on 65, Alan. This for 6 out of 6. Compare him to Danny McGrain.
Oh my goodness. I should know this number, and that should be ingrained, as it were, in my consciousness. But so the different days, right? So didn't play as many matches. I'm sure he got to 50. I know he played a long time, but there just weren't that many games. I'm going to say over 50, between 50 and 65, but less.
Less than 65 for Danny McGrain.
Yeah.
62. 6 for 6 so far.
Pressure. Aaron Ramsey's up with the next one.
David Barry playing in the background.
So, Tony, against Danny McGrain, we have Victor Wanyama for
good
Kenya.
one. That's a good one. That is a good one. That's tough.
Aye.
Would like to be doing this one.
Okay. I'm going to say less.
Less for Victor Wanyama. He has 64.
Fingertip save.
Lucky.
It's a slam straight down the middle and the goalie doesn't move.
That was the Aaron Ramsey.
That was the Aaron Ramsey penalty.
Kev, here's your chance to get back into it here. Victor Wanyama, 64 caps for Kenya against Georgios Samaras for Greece.
Oh. Thinking hard about this one. Because again, he's been around a few squads for Greece in a few tournaments. So, and because I like him a lot, basing it purely on that.
So that's not good as a judgment at all.
No, clearly not. Whether these international managers liked him as much as I do, I'm going to say that yes, Samaras had more than 64 caps because he had quite a long career.
81.
Well done.
Do you know, in those 81 caps, he got 9 goals. What a return for a striker. I think Scottish strikers get a better return than that. 81 caps for Samaras, Alan.
Uh-huh.
He's up against Joe Ledley,
Ledley.
of Wales.
Oh, Joe Ledley played for Wales for years.
Yeah, he did, aye.
Yeah, I'm going to say more than 81 for Ledley.
More than 81 for Joe Ledley. Joe Ledley had 77.
Oh, no.
It's a slip up from Alan Morrison.
Well, he's back in the game.
Witness the eighth wonder of the world, Alan Morrison. Got a stats question wrong. That's no
These aren't stats, these are facts.
Okay. Give me my moment, Alan.
It's a memory test.
So, Tony,
I'm getting old, I can't do memory tests.
you have the love of Amy Canavan's life, Joe Ledley, and he's up against Paul McStay.
Oh, no.
I know how many caps he got. I'm pretty sure I do.
I'm going to say more. I think it's 78 or something. How much they got?
Paul McStay for Scotland, 76.
Yeah, I thought 75, but yeah, 76.
Wow,
Yeah.
right. Well,
That was your chance there, Tony. Kev, maybe you could get back into this. Paul McStay on 76 comes up against Ayo Berkovic for Israel.
Ooh.
Gut instinct says more because Israel didn't have a very good team when he was playing for them, I don't think. So he would have been there. They didn't make any tournaments, so it's only qualifiers and friendlies. More. Do it. Lock it in, Colin.
Ayo Berkovic had 78.
Well done.
There you go.
So after 7 rounds, Alan, you are on 6 points. Tony, you're on 5 points. And Kev, you're also on 5 points. There's only 1 point in it.
Crikey.
Very, very close. So, Alan, Ayo Berkovic is up against Niall McGinn.
Niall McGinn. Ooh, he probably got more caps than I realise. I'm going to say less. It's going to be close, though.
Less for Niall McGinn. Niall McGinn got 71. Correct. But is that a lot more than you expected then, Alan?
Not a lot more. No, he's been around. Oh, again, he's in veteran stage now, isn't he? He's late mid-30s now. So yeah, I think he's a pretty regular in the squad.
I'll give you a clue because this person isn't going to come up in it. But I was surprised that he had more caps than Neil Lennon. Neil Lennon only had 40 caps.
Right.
Strange.
Probably a story to tell around that.
Yeah, very much so.
I think that was entirely in football abilities.
Well, that's true. So, Tony, Niall McGinn is up against Maciej Zurawski of Poland.
oh, come on.
Long-time Legia frontman.
Aye, but his star shone brightly for a while, didn't it? But not forever, if you get what I mean.
What's your best Maciej Zurawski moment that isn't the 4 goals against Dunfermline?
Probably he's got Ibrox.
That's up there.
Just the way he took it, and the fact that it was Roy Keane's one and only game against Rangers and lost it, and I enjoyed that. Yeah, I'll say less because I'm not entirely convinced that he.
Zurawski for Poland got 72.
Oh, that's cruel. That's cruel. I'm surprised.
How
about you? Because he was pretty much done by 29, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely done. Yeah.
I remember his penalty in the shootout against Spartak because I think if we'd missed, we were going out, and I think he put it in the top bag. Him and Derek Riordan scored brilliant penalties in that shootout.
Riordan was put on for that reason, wasn't he?
Yeah. And obviously that great moment at the end of the shootout with all the players jumping on top of Artur Boric and Tommy Burns getting involved as well. That's one of those iconic Celtic moments.
I just remember before we signed him, and I think Poland were playing England in a World Cup qualifier. I didn't know anything about him. I just thought, what a player he is. And when he signed for Celtic, I couldn't believe it. It was like, oh, brilliant.
I think he had a very good season his first time round. I think maybe 25 goals in his first season.
Yeah, these moments, yeah, of course, yeah.
Kev Zarafsky is up against Mark Viduka.
It's tough.
That is tough. Jeez. I'm tempted to go less because I think Viduka's another one that had quite a few injuries in his career that would probably have curtailed his appearances for the national team. So I know he had a long career, but I reckon could he have been one that kind of ended his career early, as well, his international career early, focused on his club football?
Let's see 2 names, Kevin. There's Mark and Marco Viduka, wasn't it?
Exactly. So if this goes the wrong way, we're going to have to fact check. How many games was he registered as Mark?
So, Kev, what's your final answer?
So, I'm going less.
43.
Yeah, well done. Yeah,
43 caps.
I bet there's a few disciplinary misses as well.
Probably. So, Alan, we are into round 9. Mark Viduka comes up against Craig Burley. And a fantastic picture of Craig himself.
He got quite a few caps.
He did.
Wow. But it's going to be, I think it's in the 40s. It's not, I don't think he got to 50, did he? I'm going to gamble that he got just a little bit more.
Craig Burley for Scotland. 46, correct. Tony, Craig Burley on 46 comes up against Charlie Mulgrew.
Wow.
Probably one in there either side, and I don't know. Any difference, does it? So it's 50-50. I'll say less.
Less than 46 caps for Scotland. Charlie Mulgrew has 44. Congratulations, back on the board. Charlie Mulgrew, Kev, you have Georgie Cadetti.
There's only one.
There's only one George Cadetti. I mean, when he was in Portugal, he was a leading light. Trying to think who else would have been in the team at that time. Would it have been
Paulo Futre?
João Pinto.
Yeah. I remember him scoring 2. We only lost 5-0 Scotland, didn't we?
The night that was the Andy Roxburgh comment. The night a team died.
Yeah. So I don't know, when he was younger, definitely I think he would have been in the team quite a bit, making a few caps. But I don't know if he played that much for the national team after and during Celtic. So I will say less.
Less than 44 caps for Cadetti. 33.
Oh, well, yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Going into
with that one.
Going into the final round, Alan, you have 8 out of 9. Tony, you have 6 out of 9. And Kev, you have 7 out of 9. So if Alan gets this one wrong, you've got the chance to draw level.
Crikey.
So, Alan,
can I use my bonus point for Zheng Zhi?
So, Alan, Georgie Cadetti is up against Christopher Ayer.
Oh, that is horrible. No, he's not played for Norway that till recently, but it must be close. He must have Nations League games and all that palaver. He must have racked up a few in the last few years, but it would only been the last 3 or 4 years. So to beat 33, you'd have to have played 10 or 11 internationals a year.
I was surprised when I looked up the stats. Callum McGregor last year made 15 appearances for Scotland. Right,
okay. Well, I'm sure Ayer would have been rotated to some extent, especially in the early days. My gut definitely says lower, but I'm thinking this is a trick one.
There's no pressure on here at all.
The right answer's probably the same, right? Do you know what? I'm gonna not follow my gut. I'm gonna say this is a trick one and say more.
More than 33 caps. Christopher Aya has 26.
It wasn't.
Kev, you are still in the game here.
I overthink
it. Tony, Christopher Aya is up against Kieran Tierney.
I'll say Kieran's got more.
Kieran Tierney for Scotland has 32 caps. Congratulations. Well done.
Solid.
And Kev, you need this one. Otherwise, Alan has one. Kieran Tierney is up against Scott McDonald of Australia.
Nasty.
Oh, McDonald must have had more than 32. He says confidently and then doubts himself.
Then goes to overthink it.
Aye. Well, I'm not renowned for my thinking, Tony. So
I'm more renowned for my writing, and they let me away with it. You know what I mean? Living proof you can fool all the people all the time.
Exactly. Let's go more. That was the gut. Let's do it. Go with
Scott McDonald for Australia has 26 caps, which means Alan, you are the winner.
Unlucky
of today's game. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my mum, my dad,
well done, Al.
my budgie,
your agent,
especially my agent, who will be on the phone to you very shortly.
So, congratulations to everyone who was playing along there. I hope you enjoyed that. It was just good to have a wee bit of fun with the guys. So the final scores: Alan, you got 8 out of 10, and Tony and Kev, you both got 7 out of 10, which is pretty good.
Magnificent scores.
Considering you diddled me with one either side of
it was a luck of the draw, Tony.
Luck of the draw. I heard that, sure, but okay.
So thank you to everyone who has been watching along today on A Celtic State of Mind. A big happy anniversary from everyone here at Acsom. It's been a fantastic 12 months so far, and we look forward to the next 12 months ahead. Thank you to Tony, to Kev, and to Alan for joining me today. Any last words, gents?
Have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Any last words ever?
We'll finish on that.
Somebody come out the words.
Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Until then, stay safe and hail, hail.